Hello, 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 hello! Looks like my microphone is working. I'm Adrian, and welcome to Rabona TV's Weekend Recap, where we will go through all of the action from the four leagues, the top four leagues, that is, as well as AFCON. It provided more thrills this weekend as the knockout round began on Sunday with the round of 16. In the first match, Burkina Faso and Gabon played out a 1-1 draw. Bertrand Traoré hit the woodwork with a penalty before converting later in the match, about 10 minutes later, to put them 1-0 up. And then cue the heroics from Gabon, who, without a few first-choice players and after getting a man sent off, forced an equalizer in the 91st minute to in turn force extra time. All even there, but the shootout was box office. 3-3 in the shootout. Each nation missed their fourth. Then they went flawless to 6-6. Then they each missed again, with Gabon's seventh kick. Paloun missed, giving Burkina Faso another opportunity to win the shootout. They spurned their first two chances, but substitute Ismaila Ouedraogo made no mistake and cued the jubilation. He came on in the 114th minute and scored the deciding penalty for his nation, sending his own keeper flipping down the 18-yard box line in celebration. Gold medal for that floor routine as Burkina Faso advanced with a 7-6 shootout win. Wow. And the other match on the day, one of the tournament favorites, Nigeria, took on Tunisia. And my goodness, did they ever lack in some bite in the attack. Nigeria with Osimhen is different gravy, but they look toothless for the most part against a very well-organized Tunisia in this one. Ola Aina, for all of the good he did for Nigeria on the day, completely misread a switch of play from Tunisia and allowed Masakni to get in behind. While he did indeed check his run and he cut inside, the opportunity was already allowed when it never should have happened. But not all of the blame can go on Aina, as Okoye in goal really should have done better with Masakni's strike. It was low and hard for sure, but he saw it coming from a mile away. Anyway, Alex Iwobi came on in the 59th minute, and by the 65th, he was sent off. And that was that for Nigeria. They are eliminated from AFCON. Form and prestige totally goes out the window in this tournament. So congrats to Tunisia and Burkina Faso for their achievements this weekend. Can't wait for today's matches. Over in England, we had the continuation of the very spooky haunting of Goodison Park, this time with Steven Gerrard and Luca Digne, most notably going to Goodison with Villa. But who else but Digne, who was booed and had things thrown at him, to play a big role in Villa's win, getting an assist for Buendia's winner in the first half stoppage time. The left side looked good for Villa, even if Coutinho was a bit quiet at times, so 1-0 Aston Villa there with a victory. Dean Smith got another great result this weekend as Norwich went away to Watford and won 3-0. Josh Sargent with a brace, one of which was a cheeky little half scorpion kick. That's 2 wins on the trot for Norwich now as they got their heads above water finally. Speaking of, Newcastle are trying to do that after 2 draws in a row. They beat Leeds United away this weekend with Jonjo Shelvey scoring directly from a free kick. I mean, the strike was decent, it was low, with a lot of whip, but Meslier will want that back. I get it. He was probably anticipating a touch from one of the Newcastle attackers on the way, a little bit of divergence, and that's why he went down so late, but all things considered, he'll want that one back, like I said. 1-0 Newcastle the final. Wolves have also continued their great run as they beat Brentford 2-1 on Saturday. Bit of a strange one as that match was put on pause for 15 minutes as there was a drone over the pitch. Anyway, the second half had some fireworks as João Moutinho and Semedo linked for the first, only for Ivan Toney to pull Brentford back level. But that lasted under 10 minutes, didn't it? As Moutinho rolled the ball inside to Neves and he found the bottom corner with what was the winner, unbeaten in 5, and they've won 3 matches in a row now. Manchester United labored against a decent West Ham United side, but in the end, a stunning counterattack saw Rashford convert at the back post. Great attacking move as Ronaldo played on Martial. Martial dished wide to a brilliant Cavani, and his ball across the face of goal was inch perfect for Rashford. Great counter from Rangnick's men, as his record is quite good. 6 wins, 3 draws, and a loss in the Premier League. 14 scored, 7 against, an average of 2.13 points per match, which is second only to City in this time frame. Chelsea-Tottenham was a fiery one, plenty of, contact, fouls given and not given, and goals disallowed. Kane and Spurs have the right to be a little bit frustrated, I think, when they had a goal called back just before halftime, as Kane had a gentle hand on Thiago Silva's back, and the Brazilian threw himself to the ground. VAR deemed that Tierney had got it right after reviewing it. Funny because there was a similar incident between Pukki and Samir on Friday, and that goal was given, even though there was actually more contact from Pukki on Samir. Not a great call in my personal opinion. Incredible gamesmanship from a very experienced defender in Thiago Silva. Game's gone. Am I right? Game's gone. But I guess when you put your hand on someone, you are forcing the referee to make a decision. And so I guess that's where Kane went wrong. But still, I think that if we're calling that a foul, ay. However, if we're talking game, perhaps Ziyech hasn't shown what he's capable of recently. In fact, you could argue that he's been quite poor, but his strike on the other side of halftime was stunning. That's what he's capable of. That's where he's most dangerous, stepping in off of the right and curling one to the back post. No keeper saves that one. Later on, they doubled their lead from a free kick as Thiago Silva, who else, headed past Lloris from a Mason Mount delivery. I mean, with 6 defenders on the pitch for Tottenham, had Kane's goal counted in the first half, they would have been in a good position. But that's the difference these calls can make. And again, I guess you got to give Silva credit for being what, a lot of managers like to call street smart and going down there. And Chelsea were thoroughly deserving of the 3 points based on that second half display. 4 matches, 4 wins against Spurs without them scoring a goal this season. Liverpool defeated Crystal Palace 3-1 at Selhurst, Jota winning a penalty by diverting his run into the keeper to make sure there was contact instead of running straight. Lots of reason to complain there, as well as he stepped into the keeper, but hey, I guess what we learned this weekend was that refereeing decisions will always frustrate, but at least that wasn't a decisive moment in the match, right? Southampton put in a great display against City, who would have frustrated their supporters, and certainly Pep following the match. You know Pep is angry when City don't get a great result, and he says that he is so happy with the team. In fact, he told the reporter that it was their best performance of the season by far. Nah, not at all. But hey, shout out Hasenhüttl and the Saints. Brighton, what did I tell you guys last week? These guys are the lords of the draw. 1-1 is their fetish. And this weekend against Leicester, 1-1, baby. Midweek against Chelsea, 1-1, baby. I mean, it's quite ridiculous. And with Arsenal drawing Burnley 0-0, the table and the scores are as follows. City's lead is cut down to 9, and Liverpool have a match in hand still. Chelsea, United, and West Ham all trailing. And the table is still a mess with all the different matches played amongst the teams. Some have played as few as 18 if you're Burnley, or as many as 24. That's a huge swing. Real Betis have continued their great run with a big 4-1 victory over Espanyol this weekend, away to Espanyol actually, which is huge. After going behind thanks to Raúl de Tomás, his 12th goal of the season, I should say, they stormed back, driven by who else but Nabil Fekir to take a 2-1 lead into halftime. Sergio Canales then set up Borja Iglesias with his second to make it 3-1, and Fekir was involved again, setting up Willian Jose to make it 4-1. Fekir, Canales, Iglesias, and Willian Jose, the usual suspects for Betis. Villarreal got their first win in 4 matches as they hosted Mallorca, defeating them 3-0 at the Estadio Cerámica. Sevilla, they actually went 2-0 down at home against Celta Vigo. Franco Cervi, former Benfica player, and Iago Aspas, their talisman, providing the goals in a first half blitz, but Papu Gomez got his second goal in 3 matches to give them hope. And what a goal it was by Papu. Gomez cutting inside from the right and wiring it into the top corner with his left foot, his weaker foot. And 3 minutes later, Oliver Torres leveled, failed clearance from the defenders, and Torres found the bottom corner, 2-2 there. Atletico Madrid also had to come from behind at home as it was looking like the hurting was going to continue for them, and perhaps a tough decision would need to be made by Atleti if it was to continue. Their record would have sat at 3 wins, 6 losses, and a draw in their last 10 matches, and with it being 2-0 Valencia at halftime, my goodness, it was hard to see how they would come out of this. But they did. And all of those worries evaporated, at least for the moment. It was still another disappointing one for João Felix, though, made all the more damning by him getting replaced. And 2 of the substitutes in Mateus Cunha and Angel Correa were instrumental, I should say, or both, really, in Atleti's comeback. Each of them grabbed a goal, with Mario Hermoso getting what was the winner. As of the 90th minute, Atleti were losing 2-1, but Correa and Hermoso's stoppage time goals got to turn the tie on its head. Moments like these can be turning points for a team, showing this kind of fight and unity, so we'll see where Atleti go from here. Real Madrid also found themselves down 2-0 at home. What was going on with these top La Liga sides this weekend, man? It was a little bit strange. That was partially down to Benzema missing a penalty in the first half, though, why they were losing. And unfortunately, in the second one, he went off injured with what looks like a hamstring injury. Anyway, Elche took the 2-0 lead thanks to goals from Boye and Per Mila. Luka Modric managed to pull one back from the spot before Eder Militão scored in second half stoppage time with an assist from his Brazilian compatriot Vinicius. 2-2. Jovic looked very, very poor and like he needs to be sold ASAP, but without a proper reinforcement for Benzema, that's not likely, is it? Athletic Club followed up their midweek victory over Barcelona in the Copa del Rey with a 1-0 win away to Rayo Vallecano at Vallecas. That's a good run of form they're on. Just the Supercopa final being the only loss in their last 7 matches. 5 wins, a draw, and a loss across all competitions for Marcelino's side. And Barcelona beat Deportivo Alaves away with a goal from Frankie de Jong, who he absolutely needed that. Hopefully that will give him a lift because he's drifted a bit this season. And so Real Madrid's lead is still 4 points over Sevilla. Betis is on 40 and Atleti, with a match in hand, are on 36. 14 behind Real Madrid. After such a hot start to the season, Giovanni Simeone has failed to score for Hellas Verona in 6 consecutive matches, but his teammates have picked up the slack. Verona won 2-1 at home against Bologna, with Caprari leveling and Nikola Kalinic securing all 3 points for Igor Tudor's side. Inter had another frustrating match, frustrating in comparison to their golden run for a while there, where it seemed so easy for them and they were playing beautiful stuff. Venezia's Thomas Henry put the visitors ahead before Nico Barella converted from a Perisic rebound to make it 1-1 right before halftime. In the second, try as they might, they couldn't get past Lazzarini and his 10 saves in this match. Until second half stoppage time, that is. Good run from Dumfries down the right to get to the byline, where he then clipped in across to the towering Bosnian to guide past the keeper. 2-1 Inter with the win. Dzeko with his 9th goal for Inter in 21 appearances. That was his first goal for them in 9 matches, and his last goal coming in that 3-0 trouncing of his former side, Roma. While Inter may not have been playing incredibly well in their last couple matches, as I was alluding to earlier, they are still unbeaten in 14 matches in Serie A. Can't say Simone is doing a bad job, can you? One of their closest rivals in the title race, Napoli, got a 4-1 victory at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Alif Elmas, Dries Mertens, Amir Rahmani, and Lorenzo Insigne with the goals for Napoli. Insigne's first since the end of October, actually. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Mertens for the goal and the assist, as he has made his intentions known surrounding his contract and how he wants to stay with Napoli. Mourinho's Roma stormed to a 4-0 lead in their first half away to Empoli. It took them 24 minutes to score, but once they got one, they came in thick and fast, scoring 4 in a 13-minute spread. 2 goals from Tammy Abraham, who is in sensational form at the moment. He scored 13 goals in his last 14 appearances across all competitions. That's great from the English striker. Also, Sergio Oliveira, another new signing this season, he came in just a few days ago, has been an instant hit. He got a goal and an assist to take his tally to 2 goals in 2 matches since joining from FC Porto, plus an assist. While Zaniolo also got a goal and an assist himself. Considering how much control Roma had, it will have been disappointing to see them drop a bit in the second half and concede 2 goals. At 4-0 up, standards sometimes do drop, but they dropped far too much in the second half, as Empoli were absolutely dominant against a poor Roma side. Let me be clear, just in the second half, because they were picking Empoli apart in that first 45. And don't forget, by the way, also worth remembering, Empoli is not some bottom feeder club. They're firmly mid-table, just 7 points behind teams like Lazio and Fiorentina. Speaking of, those 2 sides were held to draws against Atalanta and Cagliari, respectively. And on Sunday evening, all eyes were on AC Milan versus Juventus at the San Siro. And all eyes should have been covered, to be honest. If you watch this match, I feel for you, as it was a match that, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it just simmered and never really boiled, did it? There were some half chances here and there, but the overall quality of both sides in the attack was pretty poor. I mean, in saying that, I slightly discounted the defensive work, of course, which I shouldn't do, because Chiellini and Romagnoli in particular impressed me with some very important tackles throughout, but still. The amount of times that either side would attack would have a numerical advantage, only to suddenly become too slow or static and allow the defense to make the recovering runs, was really frustrating to take in. Rafael Leão was cooking that Juve backline, for example, in the first half, but much like the entire match, was quiet in the second. So 0-0 from San Siro, Juve without a single attempt on target, 2 points lost for Milan, it feels like, and that leaves them 5 points behind Inter and just 1 behind Napoli, Atalanta and Juve in 4th and 5th. A tale of 2 teams who have sacked at least one manager this season, maybe another sacking on the way for Wolfsburg, as RB Leipzig welcomed the beleaguered Wolfsburg on Sunday, and while it took them just over 75 minutes to get the breakthrough, Willi Orban can be thanked for that. They were absolutely the better side in this one across the entirety of it. Of course, Vardiol with the second, just 6 minutes from the end of this match to double their lead. I mean, I guess I said that they were better throughout, but some credit has to be given to Wolfsburg as they look good in the middle portion of this match. But the writing is on the wall, isn't it? Winless in 9 matches now and just above the relegation playoff. Not good enough from Kohfeldt, as Wolfsburg are still winless since November 6th. He got 3 wins on the trot when he first took over and hasn't won since then. A change will come if they fail to beat Greuther Fürth in their next match. Mark my words. Daniel Malin was the best player on the pitch for Dortmund's match away to the high-flying 1899 Hoffenheim. He set up Haaland after just 6 minutes, but this back-and-forth match of 2 relatively evenly matched sides, that was clumsily worded, my bad, based on form alone, I should say. I mean, they went blow for blow. On the stroke of halftime, Andrej Kramaric equalized, scoring his 3rd goal this season. But Malin, he set up Marco Reus to make it 2-1. Then Malin's tantalizing ball across the box was so tasty that David Raum guided it past his own keeper. How can you resist, right? The ball falls to you on the edge of the 6-yard box. It would be a shame if it ended up anywhere but in the back of the goal, right? Hoffenheim pulled one back late, but 3-2 Dortmund the final. Malin looking good lately for Dortmund. And Dortmund, that's wins against Freiburg and Hoffenheim. 2 strong sides on the trot in the Bundesliga, which will help, ease the pain a little bit of their Pokal exit against St. Pauli, but only slightly. Oh, and Haaland, he went off injured. That's of concern, of course. Should have clarity over the extent of his injury. I think today is when he's being assessed. Speaking of Freiburg, they bounced back with a 2-0 win over Stuttgart, a team that is really struggling this season in comparison to their great run last term. Borussia Mönchengladbach's sad season continued as they were beaten at home against Union Berlin. No Taiwo Awoniyi, no problem for Union, though Taiwo will be joining them shortly after Nigeria's exit from AFCON. But anyway, a Max Kruse double for Union saw them take the win in the 84th minute. Gladbach are now just 3 points above the relegation playoff. Arminia Bielefeld got one of the most high-profile wins this weekend as they beat Eintracht Frankfurt 2-0 away. A massive result for them as Patrick Wimmer had a hand in both first-half goals for Bielefeld as they get themselves out of the drop zone for the moment. Augsburg, however, had no such luck as they remain in the drop zone after Bayer Leverkusen absolutely daddied up on them with a 5-1 spanking this Saturday. Well, actually, it was mostly Leverkusen's Moussa Diaby who really daddied up and destroyed Augsburg with a hat-trick. Surprisingly, no goals for Schick, but his replacement, Lucas Alario, managed to get one when he came on. And finally, Bayern Munich beat Hertha Berlin 4-1 in Berlin. Lewandowski was iced out, but Kimmich was incredible on the day. What a return he's had. His 3rd match back, and he built off of that great showing against Köln with 2 assists in this one, and a man of the match performance from midfield alongside Tolisso. Tolisso with a goal, by the way, as he's been involved in 3 goals in 3 matches. 2 goals, 1 assist. And so here are the standings and the scores from this weekend. Bayern lead by 6 points still as Dortmund won their 3rd consecutive match. And the gap from there between the top 2 and the field is 8 points. Union in 4th, by the way, which you love to see it. And that's it, guys. You know what you need to know to venture into this week with knowledge of the past weekend. I appreciate you watching with me as per usual, and we'll see you throughout the week with more content. Ciao, guys.